What's up, everybody? Drew, aka Catching Rockets here. I hope y'all are having a good day. Yeah, let's just hop right into it. I don't say this often, or I should say it more often. I didn't look for option setups for today, just because of the way the market moved, like just straight grind up. I mean, it's probably there's probably some puts to be found, but yeah. And then I guess actually I'll talk about that in a minute. As far as setups, I see a few. Hopefully, you guys caught them. Nothing that I had marked out from yesterday, but this here would have been your entry for calls. Break above 3 or more 5-minute candles, retest. And if you miss this one, then here, break above 3 or more 5-minute candles, retest. And then there's also a retest here that would have been okay. Other than that, that's about all that I see. I actually did not trade today. I don't know. Said I was going to go live. I went to bed early last night, specifically so that I could go live. And then after being asleep for about 30 minutes, I woke up and I couldn't fall back asleep. And then I'm going to take this stuff off. It's so old. Yeah. And then I think I fell asleep at like 2:30 in the morning. I did wake up to my alarm, but I was like, no, I'm good. And then also on top of that, after I said I was going to go live yesterday, my wife noticed that the muffler was hanging off of our car, and I had just put a tow hitch. I had just had a tow hitch put on, and in order to put on the tow hitch, they had to remove the muffler. So it looks like they didn't put it back on properly. I guess, I don't know, or they did put it on properly and it failed. So I had to go back to the tow hitch company early this morning. So I didn't even really have time to trade anyway. I almost sent you guys a message to let you know. Like, I already knew last night that I wasn't going to be able to trade in the morning. But then combine that with, like, no sleep. It just was not going to happen. We can actually draw fibs on the last 4 days. Or, sorry, SIGs. Why did I say fibs? That's weird. So let's check that out. I have work tonight. So, second SIG is the same as our previous day VPOC. Anyway, I have work tonight, so good chance that I'll hop on in the morning and trade when I get home. I'm also not feeling great. I don't know why. But all right. Second SIG at the bottom is also our third SIG. And third SIG up here at the top. Okay. Let's zoom out daily. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Volume is basically exactly the same as yesterday. I was kind of surprised, actually. I forgot to mention this. We gapped down overnight, right? And then just grinded up all day. I didn't look at the profile. It's a capital B, double distribution. Um, we have a buying wick at the bottom. Um, we're slightly above or closed slightly above the previous day. Wouldn't be surprised if we're still targeting 695. But as of right now, we are selling off. Looking strong. Futures closed an hour after New York session. And so it was actually looking pretty strong. We formed a little bull flag and they were starting to break out of it. Market closed and then we got I believe this is what caused the selling. Bro, like, why do you have to tell me that on every single chart? I got it. AVGO. Weird. I don't know, was there news today, but they beat their earnings pretty significantly. Earnings and revenue. And so double beat and red day. It looks like we gapped up. Sorry, this is hard to look at on. When was earnings today? So they must have said something stupid, right? So earnings were today. Initially they pumped pretty good, and then they must have said something stupid at like a what's it called? I can't think of the word, but the meeting for earnings meeting, and they've sold off pretty significantly. And I think we're seeing the effects of that on futures. I don't know if there's any other news, but causing that, but that's what I see. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's check out Fear and Greed. This is probably going to be a slightly quick video, by the way. I think I mentioned I'm not feeling very good. I don't know, like I don't feel horrible, but I just don't feel great, if that makes sense. Like I'm... all right, so we made it back into neutral. I was going to say that, but I clicked the link before I pulled it up, and I didn't want to seem like I was trying to call out something I already saw. So, but yeah, we're back in neutral. Probably getting into territory where they're going to start selling off. I mean, not quite yet. I still think SPY, we hit that 695. Tomorrow we already looked at. There's just no news, right? There's really just nothing going on all day. FOMC member Hammock speaks. He doesn't really move the market at all. Polson, same. All right. So probably should be a fairly chill day tomorrow. So again, futures currently gapping down. I'm a little bit disappointed right now because I sat down at my computer, I think when price was like right here. And I don't chase plays, but I was like, oh, that was nice. That was a nice retest of yesterday's spike base. That would be a good entry short. This actually might be a decent entry right now. And I would have missed it already unless they pull back up. I'm going to try to analyze this very quickly and see if I want to get in short. Mm. 904. Yeah, I feel like I've missed it by a couple of points. It might be worth sticking an order at 904 or 902.75. I think I'm going to do that really quick. 902.75. I got to figure out my targets though. Yeah. Well, I just got filled short. Target 885. Stop 908.75. Sorry, what did I say? 885. So if you guys actually want to see it, there's my stop, 908.75, risking $120. My entry, 902.75. Take profit, 68.85, 355. So risking 120 to make 355. It's a smaller position, because a little bit worried about a bounce. I don't feel like I'm getting the best entry, but I'll also take it. Actually, can I put my take profit? Yeah, I can. I'm moving my take profit to 86.25. I'll show you why in a split second. Whoa. So now if this works out, I'll make 330. Basically, there's some pretty significant orders right here. The main orders are down here, right here and here. But I feel like I just shouldn't tempt fate and target lower, so that's why. Right now I'm slightly red on this trade. Buy side imbalance, yes. This would have been nice today. Created a buy side imbalance here. This is your retest. Long. And this is 894. Oh, what time is this? Yeah. 10, basically 11 a.m. I don't see anything else on this chart that would be helpful. They gap below this buy side imbalance. I want to see where 94 is. Oh, they didn't quite tap it. Came close. All right. They do not like me. Let's take a look. I'm going to get rid of the SIGs. You guys have the levels if you want them on your chart. I just feel like it's very cluttered and it's not really adding much of anything, at least for me. I'm going to say this because I think I forgot to say this yesterday. Basically, if we break over any level, get 3 5-minute candles retest. That's your entry for calls. Break below any level, 3 5-minute candles retest. That would be your entry for puts. A few of the key main things I would really like to see is break above, retest, and then go. The only issue with this is we're basically at all-time highs, right? So you actually want this to go higher and then give you a retest. The reason being, then at least you have information on where to take your profits, right? So that would be one scenario that I would like to see. I would like to see either of these scenarios. I think what's happening right now is kind of an overreaction with AVGO, unless it's something else that's causing this sell-off. But I wouldn't be surprised if they run it again tomorrow. But we need to be ready basically for anything, right? So come below, retest, puts. And then the same with this. If we, even if we peak above a little bit, that would kind of be ideal, and fall back inside. That would be your spot to hop in puts as well. I just realized I can't see the chat. Let me close my... There we go. Oh, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Luxterra, I'll answer that in just a second. I mean, it's not considered an indicator, it's considered order flow, but, and I'm not saying that to be insulting. It's just, it's not an indicator. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to put anybody down. Let me go ahead and post this. If you guys have questions, now's the time. Lux, I'll answer you in just a second, okay? Because I'm going to pull it back up, and it's got to load and everything. Actually, let me pull it up right now while I'm posting the screenshot. So, this is, it's considered a footprint chart. And I'm using Quantower to see this. I'll spell it out for you guys. This shows the bid and the ask. So these are orders that have actually been filled. The other chart that I watch, it's the same concept, it's just slightly different. Instead of splitting the orders up into bid and ask, this is called a cluster chart, where all of the orders are just shown on one chart. And basically the way that you trade this is you look for areas where there's like significant order flow. Sorry, I'm trying to find something. So like this here, there's pretty large orders right here. I don't know that this worked out, but this, whoa. What you're looking for at that point, once you see like a large amount of orders, you're looking for a full body 30-minute candle below or above that level. Once you have, because at the moment you don't know if these are sellers or buyers. Once you have that full body candle above or below, at that point you just wait for a retest and you would enter in the same direction. So in this case it wouldn't have worked out, which is fine. This would be your retest, this is your entry short, but in that case it didn't work. Let's find one that does work. Probably, nope. Oh, yesterday was FOMC, so that's why. Like, I mean, here's like a perfect example, I guess. These are your large orders right there. They actually did it twice. Large orders, full candle above, retest, enter, retest, enter. And in this case, it's like 46 to 64, so it's like 20 points it gave you. And then on the second retest, 46 to 74. So almost 30 points on the second one. Works very well. Standalone strategy. Oh, I bet you this is good. So large orders up here at the very, very top, right? If we drag this all the way right. That would be your entry short. All right. Um, so anyway, these are called footprint charts, or this specific one is a cluster chart. There's also something called Bookmap, which shows you orders that are like resting orders that haven't been filled. So again, those are orders that have actually been filled. Bookmap, bro. Why is my computer not working? Thank you. I don't use Bookmap, but if we're going to talk about orders, like, we should talk about it. So Bookmap basically shows...
I had a crazy idea.
It shows bubbles that kind of indicate... Well, the bubbles are orders being filled. But over here, you can see how many orders... it's kind of hard for me to see this, but like... That looks like 2,500 orders, or 16... yeah. Or I'm sorry, the orders, the bubbles are filled orders. And like the bigger the green bubble, the more orders were filled there. The bigger the red bubble, the more orders were filled there. And then these red lines, like the darker the red, the more orders that are sitting there. Yeah, so like yellow, well, blue would be like the least amount, yellow would be lesser, and then orange more, red more, and then dark red the most. Okay. And this is called Bookmap. Am I getting smoked on my puts? I am. Or on my short? Oh, they're about to stop me. Such is life. I feel like my stop loss is in a good place. If they're going to go higher than yesterday's spike, then they can have my liquidity. It's not much, $120. Here it is right now. We're pretty close. A lot of people right now would be like, oh, let me move my stop. Don't do that. Follow your plan. For me, like, my whole point in this is if they regain, I mean, right now they've already, we went from being in a downtrend, right, to now making a new higher high on 5 minutes. If we break above yesterday's spike, they've pretty much invalidated my trade in the sense that we've made a new higher high and we just broke through like what should be a key resistance level. There's no reason for me to move my stop. Like, I put my stop where it is for an important reason, and that is that change of structure, breaking through like a key resistance level. I have no reason to be short if we get back up here. They're probably going to run it, back up and go possibly even higher, right? I guess right now my trade's looking a little bit better. They rejected, but we'll have to see what happens. All right, let me close this. All right. How do I feel about the indicator smart money concept? I've never heard of smart money concept, and I don't like. I don't know. If you were here the other day, we went over this. I mean, I just explained like a trade that I'm in literally right now, where I feel like I got a good entry. Apparently I didn't. This would have been the ideal entry in my opinion. And sorry, you figure out where you're going to close your trade based on market structure, right? So like in this instance, on 5 minutes, if we break above the spike base, we're now making a new higher high on 5 minutes. I don't want to be short. I don't want to be in puts. Hey, what's up, Corey? Right? If we're making new higher highs. But we have like a key resistance level right above where they would make new higher highs. And I need to give myself a little bit of breathing room just in case they try to do like a liquidity grab and then they go. And so I've hidden my stop loss up here. But if they come up here, like my trade is invalidated. I just close my trade and move on. Like it's not a big deal. But we talked about this yesterday on SPY. I mean, there's no indicator that is that good. Otherwise, everybody would be amazing traders. Just from using indicators. You wouldn't need to be a trader. So like yesterday not yesterday, it was a few days ago, I just showed like a very simple basically a very simple like comparison of how I trade. So let's say you're risking and I don't know if you were here the other day when I went over this, but this is really all that you want to do. Let's say I'm risking $1, then I need to make 2, right? So on SPY, it's not going to let me do whatever close enough. There. If I'm risking 1 point on SPY, then I have to make 2. And then mathematically, like you'll be profitable as long as you're correct, like over 34% of the time. We ran through this a couple of days ago, but I'll do it again really quick. This is all that you need. So we're always looking for, like that breakthrough level, retest, and then enter long or enter calls, whatever. Technically, there was a short here. So like we broke below, had 1, 2, 3 candles, retested, it missed, right? I'm not trying to skew this in my favor, but I'm only going to show long positions or calls just because I don't want to have 2 of these tools on the chart. But just know like that would have missed. But for the purposes of what I'm doing right now, I'm just going to use... why is it not showing? I guess it is. I'm just going to be using call positions, so I'm not dragging 2 of these boxes around. So in this instance, I mean, technically, depending on how you look at it, you could have either entered at the November value rate high when we broke above, had 3 5-minute candles or more, retested and went, or you could have entered previous week value rate high. I'm just going to go with worst case scenario in this case, which is entering at previous week value rate high. You would have been in drawdown a little bit, and then pretty quickly it ran and hit your target. So that's 1 win so far, 0 losses, based on the entries that we look for, right? The next one I see is here. We broke above, 1 candle, 2, 3, retest right there. I don't generally enter off of POCs, but I'll just include this. It would have been a long, wild ride. They almost stopped us, and then they hit our profit target. Now 2 wins, 0 losses. And you guys tell me if you see like a setup that I'm not showing. Like this one would have been the better entry, but we already were in that trade, so I'm not going to say like, oh, 3 wins if you took it here, because we already got a win off of that one, right? Keep going left here. Looks like, okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this one would have been a miss. So we're at 2 wins, 1 loss. Am I right? I think the next one is right here. And you would have had to swing it, but it would have hit. I don't know. I'll just not include that because I don't know. We're not talking about swing trades, so it wasn't a miss. It wasn't a win. I'm just not going to include it. We're still at 2 wins, 1 loss. So this here, previous week value area high, broke above, retest, boom. It looks like this did not work. Oh, it did. Yeah. So now, is that 3 wins, 1 loss? Shit, I'm losing track. Yeah, 3 wins, 1 loss. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. So here's our first test, retest, enter. So that's 4 wins, 1 loss. Right? This here is a retest of a retest. I wouldn't take this. But then here we have a retest, right? Which you could have taken. I don't know if it's fair for me to say, like, I wouldn't take the retest of a retest. I don't know. I'm just going to ignore both of them. Hopefully you guys are good with that. I think we're... Fuck. Is it 3 wins or 4 wins? Does anybody know? Is it 4 wins or 3? This is not a setup, unfortunately. Would have been good. Break above 1, 2. So this is probably good. Yep. They came close to stopping us out and then hit our profit target. That's definitely 4 wins, 1 loss. It might be 5 wins, 1 loss. I don't really remember, but I'll just say 4 wins, 1 loss. Next setup. So here, we broke above, got our 3 5-minute candles or more. This is our retest. So if we had taken that one, that puts us at 5 wins, 1 loss. Here, broke above, retested, broke down, so that's 5 wins, 2 losses. Broke back above, retest, and that puts us at 6 wins, 2 losses, right? I don't see a trade here. Nothing here. Here, break above, retest, right? So that's 7 wins, 2 losses. I don't think we have an entry here. 1, 2, yeah, no. Looks like our next trade is here. Break above, retest. September value area high. 8 wins, 2 losses. No entry here. This is all choppy and sloppy, even though it ran. No entry here, no entry there. No entry here. This here would have been an entry. This was our initial test. Retest. That failed, so that's 8 wins, 3 losses. And it looks like this was our initial test, retest, that would have failed. 8 wins, 4 losses. And then they came here, retested again, and that would be 9 wins, 4 losses. I'm going to stop there, okay? And then let's do some really simple math. If you were risking $100 to make 200, right? 9 wins, 4 losses. I need to write that before I forget. 9 wins, 4 losses, right? So if we're making 200 for every trade we take, then we made 1800 on the wins. Our losses was negative 400. So our net is positive 1200. Right. And that's just using a simple 1 point, 2 point strategy on SPY. A lot easier to do on futures where, like you just set your, like right now I know, future or option contracts, the price changes like due to theta decay and delta and all that. But with futures, like if I get stopped out here, I'm risking whatever it is, 6 points on ES, and if they hit my profit target, I'm making 16 points and 50 cents. So anyway, the math works if you just follow the setups, right? Whoops, that's not what I was trying to do. And we could do this like just over and over and over and over again. The key is, I think I should be clear with everybody. Like when I say no entry here, we're looking for basically the first candle that you count is okay if it touches whatever line it is. But so like in this case, this would be our first candle, right? But then the second candle comes down and touches this. So at that point, this becomes the first candle. And then you're waiting for a second candle. And then our third candle touches again. So then we're restarting again at number 1. The next candle touches again. We're restarting at number 1. We're looking for like 1 candle, 2, 3, where only the first candle touches the line. And then we're waiting for a retest. We didn't get that here, right? So this would be a good example. Here we broke above. This would be 1. This is 2. This is 3. And now at this point, we're waiting for our retest to enter calls, right? Same thing here. We didn't get that. We broke above, sold back off, came back to it, sold back off, broke above. Next candle tapped it, wick down, closed above, wick to it. And then we would have got the 3 candles, but we never got like a clean retest to enter, right? So, did I count wrong? 1400? Did I put 1200 and it was like negative? It was 1800 minus 400 and I put 1200? Should have been 1400. I apologize. Whatever. Enough money to make people happy, right? And then, just for fucking argument's sake, like, I do this shit. It's kind of hard to show because based on this, it's saying for every dollar I risk, I'm making 90 cents, but that's not the case. Like, because on some trades, I might be risking $100 to make 2, and another trade, I might be risking $300 to make 6. And if I take a loss on the trade, I'm risking $300, and then my next trade, I'm risking $100 to make $200, I lost $300 and I only made $200. And then according to the math on this, it's like, oh, nope. You're not at a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So what you really want to look at that point is the profit factor. And if I click on this, total profits divided by total losses, a profit factor above 1.0 indicates a profitable trading system. Technically, this should be at 2, but I'm at 1.75. So I'm not quite at a 1-to-2 risk to reward. Close enough. My net P&L 60% over the last 2 months, with a 58.8% win rate. December's been a little rough for me. I took a big loss, which is probably what brought this down. Or I took 2 trades that was like almost 10% of my portfolio. The very next day I took 3 trades, 2 losses, 1 win, and I still made, 5.5% on my portfolio. If we look at November, I did take a lot of trades, but I had a good month, right? Like 31% gains in 2 trades. Almost 20% here in 3 trades. So yeah, the maths, if you just do it, 1 risk, 2 reward minimum on every trade. You have to be okay with taking losses, and then your winners, like, don't get greedy. Close them at whatever, target that you set. And again, I feel like I covered this, on the trade that I'm even in right now. Where I explain my stop loss very thoroughly, right? Targeting like our next level, the November value area high, isn't bad. But here, there's like a pretty good support resistance flip, where they launched from there and made new all-time highs. So I'd like to be out of the trade before, I get down into this area here. Even here, SR flip, right where I'm closing my trade, right? It's always good to look on 30 minutes and like, do I have like a strong low, poor low? Like down here, there's a poor low. I have a strong high. And so far, I guess this trade's working out. We came really close to stopping out. I guess it would have been way better to get on the retest of the spike base, but I wasn't expecting them to go all the way back up again. But yeah, I guess like looking at things now, like I feel less confident about my take profit level. Ideally, I probably would want to close at 68, 87, 75. The wick of this candle here. Yeah. So. But yeah, I mean, you just look at the chart, you look left, right? This also wouldn't be a terrible spot to close. But again, if I did that, I would be at 1-to-1 risk to reward, and I can't take that trade, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Don't look for indicators to trade for you. They're not going to do it. Like if you look at all of the indicators that I use, they're all based on volume. And I'm not using the indicator for anything other than finding levels. I'm not asking the indicator to give me entries or whatever else, Hopefully that makes sense. With that said, I got to go hop in the shower. Time to get ready for work. As always, much love, much respect, everybody. I hope y'all have a good evening. And we will see you tomorrow. All right. Much love, much respect. Peace out, everybody.